Welcome back. Let me ask you something. Do you really think your muscles will keep getting bigger just because you keep eating more protein every day? It sounds reasonable, right? More protein means more growth. But what if I told you that might not be true? In fact, eating too much protein can actually slow down your progress. Today, we are diving deep into new scientific findings that challenge everything we thought we knew about muscle growth and reveal the two things that matter far more than your protein shake. For decades, protein has been crowned as the king of muscle building. And for good reason. Every time you lift weights, you create a signal inside your muscles called muscle protein synthesis. That signal tells your body to repair and build. And protein provides the raw materials needed to make that happen. Think of it like building a house. Without bricks, there is nothing to build with. Protein gives you those bricks. But somewhere along the way, people took that logic and ran wild with it. Instead of building a house, they tried building mansions. The golden era of bodybuilding made high-protein diets almost a religion. People ate dozens of eggs a day, stacks of chicken breasts, and scoops of powder that could fill a bucket. 300 grams of protein daily was not unusual. And modern gym culture has not changed much. You still see people chasing 200 grams of protein a day, or following the 1 gram per pound rule as if it were written in stone. I used to believe that too. I thought that if I did not hit my daily target, I was wasting my workout. But it turns out that belief was mostly built on old habits and clever marketing. Because once the food industry realized how obsessed we had become, they flooded the shelves with protein everything. Protein cereal, protein chips, protein bars, even protein coffee. Most of them are just regular foods with a small sprinkle of powder. But because the label says high protein, the price goes up by 20% and people still buy it. Now here is where the story gets interesting. A group of world-class researchers wanted to find out how much protein actually leads to more muscle. They gathered every long-term study they could find, over 60 in total, and analyzed the data side by side. Each study had people lifting weights but eating different amounts of protein. They plotted the results: protein intake on the bottom, muscle growth on the side. The pattern that appeared surprised everyone. In one example, participants eating what most lifters would call low protein, roughly 0.45 grams per pound of body weight, built almost the same amount of muscle as those eating double that amount. Double the protein did not mean double the gains. Even when people went as high as 270 grams a day, the difference was almost non-existent. In fact, a few studies showed that eating too much could slightly reduce growth. That completely defied what most of us were taught. Of course, you could argue that maybe these studies were cherry-picked. Fair point. But when you zoom out and include all 60-plus trials, the trend remains nearly flat. The line does not climb higher with higher protein. So, what does that tell us? That the benefit of eating more protein beyond a certain point is minimal. So small that many researchers doubt whether it even exists at all. Dr. Eric Trexler from Duke University, one of the leading experts on muscle growth, summed it up perfectly. If you are building a house and you have more bricks than the plan calls for, that does not make the house any bigger. It just leaves you with extra bricks you do not need. And in the human body, those leftovers simply get used for energy or stored, not turned into extra muscle. But scientific graphs only tell part of the story. Real life tells the rest. Take Alex Leonidas, a professional natural bodybuilder who used to consume over 200 grams of protein daily. A few years ago, he made a dramatic switch, cutting his protein in half and going fully plant-based. He stopped eating meat, eggs, and fish completely. Today, he averages around 90 grams of protein a day, all from plant sources. The result? His muscle size, strength, and recovery stayed the same. He continued benching over 400 pounds at under 185 body weight, proving that high numbers are not the secret. He is not the only one. Many experienced lifters are now finding that eating less protein while keeping calories and training strong leads to the same results. They are saving money, feeling better, and not stressing about every gram. So if the difference is so small, what really drives muscle growth? Let us look at the evidence. In one experiment, researchers doubled the protein intake of one group while keeping another group low, but neither group lifted weights. After 8 weeks, nothing happened. No extra muscle, no extra strength. It did not matter how much protein they ate because they did not train. Protein is the brick, but you still need workers to build the wall. In contrast, another study on people with kidney issues forced participants to eat very low protein diets, less than 50 grams a day. You would expect them to lose muscle, right? But once they started resistance training, they still built over 20% more muscle and 30% more strength. The training made the difference, not the protein number. Even calories matter more than we think. In another experiment, lifters were split into 3 groups. One got no extra calories, another got 2,000 extra calories mostly from carbs, and the last group got the same 2,000 calories but added extra protein. After 8 weeks, both the carb and protein groups gained more muscle than the control group, but their results were nearly identical to each other. The added calories made the difference, not the added protein. The same goes in reverse. When people diet too hard, even with high protein intake, they start losing muscle once the calorie deficit becomes too steep. All this data leads to a simple truth. The 3 most powerful factors for muscle growth are consistent hard training, enough calories to support that training, and sufficient but not excessive protein. Beyond that, more protein provides little additional benefit and can even backfire. Why? Because protein is extremely filling. It also burns the most calories to digest, making it harder to eat enough if you are trying to gain. High protein diets can cause bloating or discomfort for some people, and they are expensive. If your body only needs 100 grams, but you eat 200, that extra 100 grams does not build extra muscle. Your body simply uses it for energy. That is like throwing away $5 worth of chicken every day, which adds up to about $120 a month or over $1,400 a year. Imagine what else you could do with that. Another issue is balance. When you fill your diet with too much protein, something else has to give. Usually that means less carbs or fats, but both are crucial. Too little fat can mess up hormone levels. Too few carbs can drain glycogen stores, leaving your workouts weak and your recovery slow. You might be eating for growth, but actually training worse. So if high protein is not the secret, how much should you really eat? Most studies agree that 0.55 to 0.63 grams per pound of body weight is enough to maximize muscle growth for the average lifter. For someone around 160 pounds, that means about 88 to 100 grams a day. You can go slightly higher to around 0.7 grams per pound if you want extra insurance. For dieters or very lean athletes below 15% body fat, going up to around 0.8 or even 1 gram per pound can help preserve muscle while cutting. But for everyone else, more is not better. And remember, protein hides in a lot of foods you already eat. Bread, rice, beans, peanut butter, even vegetables add up. Sometimes one protein shake and a balanced dinner are enough to reach your target without effort. So before you spend more on overpriced snacks labeled high protein, do the math. Figure out how much you actually need. In most cases, you're already getting enough without trying. Your training, sleep, and calorie intake are what truly drive your progress. Protein supports the process, but it is not the engine. The next time someone tells you that you are not building muscle because you are not eating enough protein, remember this: growth comes from hard work, progressive overload, and recovery. Food is your fuel, not your magic trick. Eat enough, train hard, and let your body do the rest. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments how much protein you usually eat in a day and whether you think you are overdoing it. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more science-based tips that actually help you grow smarter, not harder.